welcome to the Artist Behind the Music Aussie series. Today we have Missy Lancaster joining us all the way from Sydney. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
So good. Thanks so much for joining me tonight or today.
Thank you for having me. It's good. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So nice day. So yeah.
Love it. I feel like I'm looking at the sunshine. Here the sun's going down at about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So this is a beautiful sight to see.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's awful.
And
Oh.
winter.
But it's
Winter in Canada.
good. Yeah, well, we've just come out of winter. Obviously, our Aussie winters aren't anything like the Canadian winters. But it's nice that the sun is up for a little bit longer, I do have to say.
Yeah, I remember I lived in Australia for a while, and the first day we got there, we landed in Sydney and it snowed, and everyone's like, what is going on here? And we're like, oh my gosh, we brought it with us.
Wow, yeah, that's like a rare sight. Like Sydney, like where I live, I'm about an hour out of Sydney. So like a bit further south down, it does snow. But wow, oh my gosh, in Sydney, where did you live?
In Surfer's Paradise.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a dream. How good.
Nice.
Nice.
Do that lifestyle ever again. But
yeah. Gosh, was it like party?
oh yeah, and like up until 6 in the morning there. Like
oh gosh, that hurts thinking about that.
Here they shut down at like a hard 2 o'clock. Everybody home, so there was a whole different world for us.
Oh gosh, sounds like a good time.
It was fun. So let's talk about some exciting news that just happened today. You're #1 at Australian Country Radio with your family now. So tell us a little bit about that and your project and the song that's out right now.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a solo artist, and one of my girlfriends, Rachel Farhims, she's a solo artist too, and we've sort of grown up together in the music scene. So we used to be like little girls. We actually met doing talent quests. So we go that far back, and we were sort of doing the music thing together, and it was really nice to have a really close friend that I could rely on, and we sort of understood each other's struggles and things like that. So we kind of decided, why not do something together and actually collaborate. I love the idea of just being able to go out on stage like with one of my friends. So we really wanted to do something like that. So that was where Southbound was born. And then we inherited 2 other girls, one who's actually Canadian, so she's our guitar player.
Oh, great.
And then we've also got another girl, Andy. So that was where Southbound was born. And we've just released a couple of singles this year. The project was launched in January. And so this is the first song that's gone to #1 with the band. So it is it's super exciting.
It is exciting, and especially in such a crazy time. Like, you started your band and then 2 months later, the world kind of shuts down, and all of a sudden live music isn't active, and the music industry has shifted to this whole new way of being a musician, right? So how did you find that position, like through COVID happening and starting a new project and keeping it flowing?
Yeah, well, the hard thing for us was that we literally launched in January at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and then COVID hit. And we traveled to New York in February, and we played a gig over there. It was a bushfire relief concert. And literally like a couple of days later, New York was shut down, and we had just heard, the first about COVID while we were over there. And then we came back, and literally a couple of days later, the world started to shut down. So I was really grateful that we did get out of New York when we did. But it was really hard because, we had like a whole tour. We had all of these shows locked in, and then all of a sudden, it was kind of all cancelled, and everyone was sort of left in the dark and living in limbo because, same for you guys over there, just like not knowing when live music was going to return, and like, what are we going to do for an income? We can't just, not work now. So that really was a struggle for us. But, here in Australia, things are starting to pick up again and start running again. So so to kick off basically the summer now, with a #1 song, and we've just started a tour with Shannon Knoll. So yeah, we're getting ready to hit the road, and it's yeah, good to have a #1 song up your sleeve.
Absolutely, it is. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you also have a song for your solo project called Wild out right now.
I do. So I released that last Friday, and for me, it's been 2 years since I released any original music. So my debut album, Piece of Me, so that was released in January 2018. So I've, just been working on writing with different artists and different writers and things like that. I've had a couple of trips to Nashville, and for me, it's been a very big like learning process. And I feel like I'm just that little bit more mature now, so I've kind of taken like a different approach to my songwriting and things like that. So yeah, Wild just felt like the first it felt like a good first single, because I feel like it sets the tone for the new album and things like that. So it's so exciting to finally have original music out again.
Yeah, it's a great song. What a year for you. You've got, your own original music coming out and your project with your band Southbound. Like, so exciting. I love seeing people, pivoting and still making things happen, even when we're in such kind of chaos in the world. So, do you have any tools that you like to use to push through the madness of life? Any go-to serenity now moments?
Coffee, coffee, wine. I think probably just, that's a hard one. I think just trying to stay positive, like that's all we can do. And we're all in the same boat. We're all in it together. No one knows what's going to happen. No one can predict the future. So I think, we really just have to try and live our lives as best we can. And I think as well, being a musician and a songwriter and things like that, it is really important for us to kind of use our gift right now, because I feel like the world really, really needs it. And I think, music would have helped so many people, during lockdown and things like that. And I think people are probably realizing how much we really do need music and that human connection. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a universal language, I find, right? It's something that everybody can connect to, whether you're listening to the words or just the melody and the music. I think music is such a gift to the world. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. So I love seeing you use it well. It's perfect. What do you find the hardest thing about being a musician is?
Ooh, I think probably the hardest thing for me is like, not everyone's gonna like your music, and not everyone's gonna like your style. So for me, I I always struggled because I feel like I took a lot of it personally. And now I'm not that little bit older, and I've been in the industry for a little while now. I'm like, it's not that they don't like me. It's not a personal attack on me, but not everyone is gonna like your music and your style. And that's okay, I guess. But yeah, sometimes I feel like that can be a struggle, just trying to not take it personally. And especially, like you do go on stage and you pour your heart out. And I feel like you're always trying to win people over. It's like a constant battle of, trying to like win an audience over, if that makes sense. So that's probably been the hardest thing.
Yeah, and it's like going on stage and writing songs and releasing them, it's being vulnerable, right? And it's really just exposing a wound. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah. And
And
it's scary.
it is,
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely can be scary. And just knowing that being vulnerable, though, is one of the biggest strengths that we can have as a human. Like, I always like to remember that, because it's too easy to hide and to pretend that you are something that, you're not, and hide
Yeah.
truths, right? So I admire
Oh,
all artists that can get out there and shine as their authentic selves, right? Because it's hard. It's
yeah.
not easy.
Yeah, definitely. And I have times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't feel everything so deeply. I feel like as musicians and songwriters, and just as artists in general, we have to feel things deeply and able to make other people feel things, if that makes sense. And I always looked at that as being a weakness for me, because I was like, oh, I wish I didn't feel things so much. But I think, yeah, it is good to, it is a strength as an artist, if that makes sense.
It absolutely is a strength because that's where the good stuff comes, right? When we're
Yeah.
feeling those deep, real human emotions. Most people,
Yeah.
quite often scared to feel. So when we can remind people that those emotions are normal and okay to feel, then kind of normalizes it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally agree. I love that. Yeah, I love that you said that.
Yeah. Do you have like a pre-show stage mantra or routine that you like to do before you hop on stage?
I just sort of try to get in the zone. So I'll like to like listen to like my favorite album or like my favorite songs at the time, and just sort of try and pump up because I feel like you really take the energy. You set the tone of the night with your energy. So, you know, if you're having a bad day, you have to snap out of it because it's like there's 200 people out there that have just paid, to come and watch you and have a good time. So you have to take the energy with you, and I feel like when you can do that, yeah, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah. Do you have any tools on how you flip the switch and, when you're having a bad day and you have to run on stage, anything that you'd like to do for your mindset to switch?
Oh, I love a good fireball shot. I love doing that with the band because I feel like it sort of just gets like everyone pumped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's probably just the fireball shot.
Fireball shot. I like it. How Aussie of you.
I'm not an alcoholic.
That's awesome. Feeling blue? Have a fireball.
Yeah, I know, right? And then you're like,
Whole
oh, I'm
endorsement.
ready to go now.
I see the future. Watch me buy fireball. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's good. When you're songwriting, do you have any specific ways do you like to songwrite? Do you find it's different writing with the band, writing alone, co-writing?
I love co-writing. That's kind of always been my thing. Like I will often, this is a thing I've been doing lately and it's really weird. But ever since I was little, I've always been like a super vivid dreamer. So I've always had really vivid dreams. And I can remember like being little and I'd come out to mum and be like, oh, I just had the weirdest dream, like blah, blah, blah. My dreams would go for like half an hour. Mum would be like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, righto. But what I've actually been doing lately is I've been writing all my dreams down into my phone. And often it will be like song lyrics and words, or my dream will like inspire an idea or something like that. And then I like to take those ideas into sessions. So a lot of the time, like I will start a little bit of the song and then sort of take the idea to whoever I'm writing with. So yeah, I think like, and it sort of just happens differently every time. Like as you would know, sometimes the melody will come to you first, and then other times it might be the lyrics. So I think it just sort of happens different every time, and I think that's the beauty of it because there's no set way of how to do it. And I think it's like it's a really hard thing to teach, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's just a lot about feeling and going with the flow. And, there's like an outline of what a song rules kind of go like, you have a verse and a chorus, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting process how you have nothing and then all of a sudden you have this beautiful feeling that you've just created.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. And I think as well, it is like you said before, that it comes back to that thing of being vulnerable and just being like, are people going to think I'm crazy? Like if I say this, like, and sometimes the most obvious thing that you're thinking in your head is what you should say, because chances are if you're thinking it, then other people are thinking it too.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly. You hit that nail on the hammer. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you're not doing music, what do you like to do?
Oh, I'm a social butterfly. So I love like just being social and hanging with my friends and my family. And I've got a little nephew, so he'll be 2 in March. So I love hanging with him and just sort of exercising. And I really like being outside, getting grounded, things like that, being in nature, going to the beach. But yeah, like, and just listening to country music. I just love country music. Yeah, so that's always playing in the background, whatever it is I'm doing.
So great. Who are your top 3 artists that you're listening to on your playlist right now?
Okay, right now is Jordan Davis, Tyler Rich, and I'd have to say, oh, who's the third one? Probably Dan and Shay.
Oh, yes. Love.
Yeah. What about you?
Ooh, well, it's very random. I listen to a lot of, I love when I'm working listening to DJ music, like Lane 8 is basically always on. I just love that DJ, so good. And
That's awesome.
then
You're
I love
like,
like meditation music, total
yep,
opposite end of the spectrum. So I'll just put on like
yep.
a random meditation playlist. Or Jared Nicklin, who's in my my pop band Boy and Girl, he has a meditation album that he just put out right
Oh,
now, all instrumental. So I listen to that on repeat a lot too.
you know what's really funny? I have meditation music in my car.
Yeah,
Anyway, it doesn't make me sleepy, so it's not dangerous. But
yeah.
sometimes I'll pick someone up and they'll be like, "What the hell are you listening to?" And I'm like, "Oh, it just keeps me calm."
Yeah,
But
just
I'm totally on the same page with the whole meditation thing. It's good, and I feel like it just really helps balance your energy. Like you're just much calmer in a much calmer state.
totally. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all could use a little more calm. So
Oh hell yeah, I'm with you there.
totally. And then I love Kelsey Ballerini. I love her new album that she has out, the acoustic version of, or I guess it's Ballerini. So
Me too. It's funny because when I listened to Kelsey, like obviously the first album, I was wondering how they were going to change it up. But like the melody changes in the second album, I love. I
so
absolutely love. Like it's so good.
yeah, they did well.
Yeah,
They did well.
they do.
Well, I'm excited to hear you play. What are you going to play for us?
What am I gonna play? Let me play the song that gave me my first number one, actually. And this was the single off the first single off my debut album, Piece of Me. And that gave me my first number one on the ARIA chart, which was exciting.
Yeah.
And I wrote this with Josh Kerr, actually, who he was the man behind Dibs, Love Me Like You Mean It. He produced a lot of the first album. So I wrote that with him. So hope you like it. It's called Forget. I remember you kissing me down the hallway, my way. I remember your fingertips on my cheeks. You know, whenever our song comes on in the background, my whole world is so steady. Hands on my arms, that's all it takes. Pull my heart back into your bed, get you back in my head, lips on my neck. How could I forget? Every memory is like graffiti on this town. Everywhere I go, I can ghosts chasing me around, making this new. See you have it now. Boy, I wish you didn't. 'Cause for a minute, I'm back in it. Everything I see is gone. Then I remember it should be over it. Well, I forget to begin. Well, I forget. I remember thinking we could be a good thing from the first time. I remember falling for you in the backseat of a taxi. I remember you taking me to that concert, sleeping in your sweatshirt, you so much that you had. Every memory is like graffiti on this town. Everywhere I go, I can ghosts chasing me around, making this new. See you have it now. Boy, I wish you didn't. 'Cause for a minute, I'm back in it. Everything I see is gone. And I remember it should be over it. Well, I forget to begin. I forget. every memory is like graffiti on this town. Everywhere I look, ghosts chasing me around, making me missing you. What happened now? Boy, I wish you didn't. Just for a minute, I'm back in it. Everything I see is wrong. Then I remember I should be red. I forget to begin. How do you forget about me? 'Cause I can't forget about you. How do you forget about me? 'Cause I can't forget about you. How do you forget about me? 'Cause I can't forget about you. How do you forget about me? 'Cause I can't forget about you. I feel like I'm serenading you.
You are just like, oh, this is so nice.
How'd you forget about me?
The
I
audio
love
is
that.
fun. So
I
good.
love that.
Oh, that's sad. I just wanted to sing along. Very, very good.
Aw,
Yeah, so good.
yay.
Cool. What's the other song you've got for us?
The next song is actually the latest single, Wild. So Wild came out last Friday. And this was just a song that just came super, super easy. And the funny story behind it is I used to have this boyfriend when I was like 14 or 15. I must have been in grade 9 at the time, and he was in year 12. And mum was really funny. She used to let him come over for dinner every Sunday night, and she used to drive him home afterwards. He didn't have a license, so mum used to have to, drive us around everywhere. And we used to always listen to the Taylor Swift album, the first one. That was the one that had like Teardrops on My Guitar and Tim McGraw and all that kind of stuff on it. And I really just wanted to write a song that like reflected like that nostalgia that you get when you're falling for someone. And I used to, remember how that album used to make me feel when I was listening to it. So I wanted to write a song that gave me the feels, if that makes sense. And Wild, the melody and the lyrics just really seemed to match perfectly and really reflect that feeling. So yeah, well, we ended up writing it in probably an hour, and it just felt
Something like that.
Yeah, and it just happened really naturally. It was just a very natural process. So yeah, it ended up being the first single. So yeah. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, I do.
Sorry.
Did you record it here?
Yeah, so it was actually it was produced by Josh Kerr, who's actually won a Grammy now, which is insane. But I recorded the vocals here in Sydney, and we sent the track over because obviously I wasn't able to get back over to Nashville.
It's so cool to be able to do that, right?
Oh, it's insane. Like, just, what you can do these days with technology is just crazy. So very grateful that we live in this day and age.
I know, me too.
Yeah. All righty. Perfect. All right. Wild. All day, maybe on a Saturday night, haven't seen your face in a little while. 17, stuck in too far, seeing else how it's neon lights burning bright, take me back to those nights I used to do my time, dancing back Catching up, baby, where we left off. Working the weather in the parking lot. Should I was 15 my head, getting on slaves, couple legs, Steve. Neon lights burning bright. Take me back to those nights you I used to have on top. Barefoot and Capri, up at the mall, it was bittersweet, like a symphony when you were mine. You make my heart go neon lights burning bright and bright. Take me back to those nights you I used to climb on top. And to barefoot and Capri, up at the mall, it was bittersweet, like a teenage dream. Take me back to those nights you I used to sing on top. Like with Johnny and Judas, singing on your guitar, it was bittersweet, like a teenage dream. Make my heart go, you'll make my heart go, so my heart go.
I love that song. So good. It's a perfect
Thank you.
summer song. So
It's
perfect.
beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like the lyrics and the melody just match really, really well. Yeah, so we're really proud of it. And I think it's just we wrote the song 2 years ago. So it's just kind of been one of those songs that has sort of like stood the test of time. So yeah, stoked it's finally out in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just felt like I wanted to be in a field and just at a festival.
I
Listening
know, you're just like dancing under the moon with your lover. I know.
enjoying life, it was just a feel good song. And I love how you told the story of, when you were younger listening to that Taylor Swift album and just reflecting on those memories. It just helped kind of put you in that state of mind listening to the song too, which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, good. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, best advice I've ever received. That's a hard one because everyone gives you so much advice in the music industry. Everyone likes to tell you the best way to do things, but I think probably it's just to like go with your gut and just go with what feels right to you. And also I think it's really important to just have a team around you that really believe in you and that also care about you, because it is such a roller coaster ride, and there are a lot of ups and there are a lot of downs, and I think that's the thing, like the highs are so high but the lows are low. So I think it's just really interesting to not interesting, I think it's just really important to have a good team around you and just go with your gut and what feels right to you.
Yeah, that's good advice to share.
Yeah.
It's like you read my mind. I was thinking, when you're talking about everyone has something to say and what you should and should not do, I'm like, well, just go with your gut because that's usually the right thing to do, right?
Literally. And I mean, I try to take it all on board and just be like, thank you. Like, thank you for sharing. But like, everyone's different as well. What works for some people might not work for other people. And that's the thing. There's no rule book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's
So
guidelines that you can follow, but I find when you break the rules, that's when explosions start to happen, right?
exactly. And I think just, staying true to yourself and just really loving what you do is important. And, making music and creating music that makes you feel good, that you're proud of. I think that's important too.
Absolutely. Then I have one more question that I always like to end every session with. If you had
Okay.
one message to share with the world, what would that be?
Oh, that's hard. Now I'm under pressure. Oh, one message to share with the world.
Fireball.
I think, oh no, I just want everyone to be happy. I just want there to be like world peace. So I think, yeah, the most important message is to just be happy. Don't worry, be happy. That's my message to the world.
I think that's a perfect message. It's the simple.
So original.
I love it. It's the simple things that we always need to hear as much as we can. So beautiful. Be happy.
Yeah, I love that. Don't worry. Be
Spreading
happy.
positivity. That's right.
Yes.
I remember a teacher had that on the wall in our classroom, and it had a fish, and it like would move off the board and would kind of be like, "Don't worry." Just, it was motion censored, so anytime you walk past it, that would play, come off, and start singing.
That's so random.
Oh, so thanks for bringing that memory back. See, you brought joy just like that.
Anytime.
Missy, well, congratulations on all your success. I'm super proud and excited for you, and can't wait to see all the wonderful things you're going to continue to do.
Thank you so much for having me, and take care over there. I hope you guys don't go back into lockdown.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm like, I surrender. I have no control over it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you for having me.
You bet. Thank you so much.